Following the Earth's destruction in 2153, Skyark is created to sustain human life, but the city simply isn't big enough, leading to the poor and orphans exiled. A boy named Rags is now expected to lead his fellow orphans to safety through the hordes of monsters on Earth, back to Skyark. When the Earth begins to succumb to destruction, humans are forced to leave to Skyark, a city built on the Earth's orbit. Monsters appeared on Earth out of nowhere, so humans had to leave for Skyark to survive. However, when the city became too overcrowded, the poor and the orphans were sent back to Earth. An uprising began against these injustices, but the leaders of Skyark were able to defeat them. To punish the people of the uprising, the children of the uprising were captured and had their arms branded with the shadow of the sins their parents had committed. These children were exiled to Earth, but set up a camp to protect themselves against the monsters. The only one who can save these children is the son of the uprising commander with 13 shadows, which are the scars on their arms. The uprising commander is considered a traitor by Skyark, which is why his child has been given the most shadows. A small spaceship crashes onto the Earth's core, and a boy named Rags is disoriented. Rags is saved from being attacked by another boy named Rusty, who informs him that if he stays in that position, he will die. The two children escape from the monsters by going inside the camp that had been built by the children. Rags meets other members of the gang, including Spindle, Lily, Birdie, Ember, Can-Can, and Ash. Rusty commands everyone to get inside the fort, and another boy, Spindle, tells the group that Rags is the 13-shadow hero they've been waiting for. Rusty confirms it and tells the group the monsters will now be afraid of them and they can protect themselves. Rusty encourages Rags to shoot an arrow at the monster, which hits the monster, but a girl named Ash shoots the monster with her arrows and beats him up, strangling him with her crossbow. Lily informs Rags that the monsters live nearby in a nearby hive. Rags learns of the blue drop, which can heal the wounded, but is safeguarded by the monsters. Rusty reprimands Ash for crossing the border to fight the monster, but leaves the topic when Ash doesn't respond. The children get ready for bed, and while undressing, Rags takes out a small transparent ball from his pocket and uses it to look at Skyark. Rags was sent to Earth when his father, who was the rebellious leader of the uprising, is asked to name others within the group, but he chooses to let his son be exiled and is shot in the head. The transparent ball falls out of his pocket, and Rags keeps it. Rags was then exiled to Earth, where he sees the blue drops in space which heal wounds, and his bleeding 13 marks are instantly healed by reaching out to touch them. Rags is awoken by a group of children, who hand him ribs as breakfast until Lily asks him to help her. Ember, Lily's little sister, asks him if they're going on a date. Lily takes Rags on top of airplane parts where she finds him a metal sword. She tells Rags that it would be easier for him to use than a crossbow. Lily and Rags practice using the sword, and he believes he's hurt her when she does not get up. However, Lily overtakes him, and the two have a meaningful conversation where Rags tells Lily his father promised to take him to the ocean but can't keep his promise anymore. Lily promises to go to the ocean with Rags, stating she'll lead the way and he'll kill the monsters. Meanwhile, Ember and Birdie had been following Rags and Lily, but are attacked by a monster. Ember is wounded and Lily tries to go to Ember but is stopped by Rusty while Rags picks her up to bring her to the fort. Ember tells the group that Birdie was killed by the monster and that she went because she hoped Rags would save them. Ember is badly wounded and Lily tells Rags that he can save Ember with the blue drops. Rags and Rusty set off to the hive to obtain the blue drops, and Lily wishes Rags the best in his journey. The two companions reach the hive, enter through a door, and while wandering through the darkened rooms, they encounter a woman sitting next to a broken piano. The woman turns her head and is revealed to be a monster to the two boys. Hiding behind a nearby chandelier, they observe the woman moving closer to them and hissing at them through the chandelier. The woman seemingly disappears but attacks the two from behind, and Rusty strikes the woman twice before running away with Rags. While walking further, Rags accidentally knocks over bricks and alerts a nearby monster. The monster is chained to the wall, and the two can run away to hide while they formulate a plan. Rusty tells Rags he must go to the stairs while Rusty will knock the monster over to help Rags kill it while telling Rags, "If you want to kill a monster, you have to be a monster." Rusty attacks the monster, but when Rags is supposed to kill it, he hesitates. which leads the monster to kill Rusty and take him away. Rags attempts to stop the monster but fails. Consumed with guilt for not saving Rusty, Rags revisits the camp but stops when he notices Lily mourning the death of Birdie and Ember. He runs back to his pod and screams in agony and tries to scrape off his 13 shadows from his arm with a rock, but is unsuccessful. Rags throws the transparent ball away but retrieves it and tries to sleep next to his pod. Another pod is transported to Earth near Rags, and a boy he names Skunk lies down to sleep next to him. A nearby monster can be heard, and Rags hides in his pod while Skunk tries to get in too, but Rags does not let him until he eventually agrees. Rags is cautious of Skunk, who claims he's been sent on a mission to find the 13 Shadows boy, and has an eye recording everything all the time, and refuses to tell him how many shadows he has, which he hides by covering them with a cloth. Rags attempts teaching Skunk how to fight, but Lily appears and knocks him out when he turns his back to let Skunk hit him. Rags wakes up to Lily's face, but she leaves once he's awake. He follows her back to the fort, but finds out that all the kids had been killed by the monsters who had attacked when Rags was not there. Lily slaps Rags and claims that she's off to do what he couldn't, and calls him a traitor before she leaves. Rags realizes Lily is putting herself in danger and goes with Skunk to save her from the hive before it's too late. Skunk finds the piano and begins trying to play it, banging on it once very hard before the two are confronted by a monster that emerges from inside the piano. The monster strikes Rags and is about to strike Skunk when Ash shows up and scares the monster with a mirror. Meanwhile, Lily stumbles through the building and hides when she hears a monster until she's attacked by a monster while she is distracted. Rags finds a piece of Rusty's armor with Ash and questions her about it to no response. Lily is being dragged by the monster who attacked her, and Ash arrives to help Rags and Skunk in finding Lily. Ash, Rags, and Skunk find another chained monster who Ash attacks. However, the monster knocks over a nearby clock, which falls on Ash. Watching another person almost killed, Rags is unable to repeat the same mistakes and puts his sword right in the monster's eye. Ash says this is the only help she'll give to the two, but Rags tries to convince her to join them, telling her she can't run forever. Ash states that she doesn't kill monsters anymore and leaves Rags and Skunk alone. Lily was simply unconscious, however, she stabs the monster carrying her with the sword in her hair and runs for her life. Meanwhile, Rags and Skunk find a hallway with children's beds. They observe a drawing of twins on the wall and conclude that the monsters ate these children. They also find a poster of Skyark on the ground, which states that Skyark is creating these monsters and sending them down to Earth. Rags realizes that his father was not a traitor and knew that Skyark was evil by trapping people in the city and that children were being sent down to feed these monsters. Rags and Skunk hear voices of a nearby monster and try to find a mirror. When they're unable to find a big mirror, Rags finds a scary mask that covers Skunk's camera eye and asks Skunk to help him scare the monsters. However, when the monster reaches out through the shelves, Skunk is terrified and runs away. Lily is wandering around when she observes the lady from the piano rip off the head of a baby doll. The monster hums a song that Lily recognizes as her song. Rags is attacked by the monster and fights until Skunk returns attacking the monster but is struck down. Rags kills the monster, and Rags and Skunk share a moment of realizing they are friends. Lily decides to act like a monster and covers her face with a gray substance to blend in, while Rags comes across Lily's bag and knows that she was there. Skunk accidentally steps into a trap which leads his foot to be tangled up in chains. Rags tries to hold on, but Skunk is dragged away, and while Rags follows, he is unable to save him on time. Lily is successful in convincing another monster that she is a part of them, even when the monster is sniffing her, and escapes the situation. Rags goes through Lily's bag, finding memoirs of every child who was killed on the planet, and stares into the transparent ball until he cries in pain for all that has been lost. Fueled with rage and pain, Rags comes across two monsters. One is the monster from the piano, and he kills her by stabbing her through the chest. Another monster attacks him and cuts his hand, but Rags leaves bloody handprints on the wall to confuse the monster. Fighting the monster, he manages to kill the monster by engaging him in one of the chain traps in the hive. A third monster is present, crawling toward Rags. The monster entangles Rags in a chain, which he then uses to chain the monster up and slices the monster in Skunk's honor. Lily is found wandering around a room by Rags, who believes it's a monster, but finds out that it is, in fact, Lily. Lily kicks Rags in the chest, but then the two share a tender kiss and a romantic moment. The two find the blue drops and embrace, but are interrupted by Rusty, who has mutated into a monster. Rags realizes that all the monsters he killed were children. Rusty invites the two to drink the blue drops and become monsters themselves, but Rags denies the offer. Rusty orders the two to be killed, but Ash saves the two by shooting her arrows. Rust ends up pushing Ash, who faints and fights with Rags until Lily stabs him in the back, after which he tries to kill Lily. Rags remembers Rusty's words, "If you want to kill a monster, you have to be a monster," and makes the impromptu decision to throw the transparent ball into the blue drops and licks off a little bit. Rags becomes a monster himself and fights with Rusty, who he harms by slicing his leg and stabbing the ground by his head, not killing him. He reminds Rusty that he is not a monster, and he can fight this and that, he is his brother. Ash awakes and Rags tells her to save Lily. A large part of the ceiling falls off, which Rags holds up and is suddenly helped by Rusty. Rags begs Rusty to come with him, but Rusty tells Rags to go without him and is crushed by the ceiling. The trio exit right the hive next to the ocean and stand there watching the waves crash onto the shore as Ash appears with Skunk, who had survived the attack of the monster. Rags makes the decision to go back up to Skyark to finish what his father started and throws the transparent ball into the ocean. Rags tells Skunk to take off his mask, letting his camera detect his 13 shadows. Skunk's mission is complete and the four stand on the shore, raising their arms toward the sky while ships are sent out from Skyark to retrieve Skunk. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.